Hey, well, this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. And I thank you for tuning in. And those coming in for the first time, I thank you. And thank you so much for tuning in to me. Well, on today's episode, I'm talking about Trump's deportation plan. And it's been popping up on the news a lot lately. And it's going to be a plan to deport illegal migrants that don't have their paperwork together. And some migrants have been here for years, but they just don't have paperwork together. They're undocumented migrants. And that's not going to just affect the arrivals, the new arrivals, but it's also going to be affecting migrants that have been here for a long period of time. And this country is built on migrants. Well, join me, dive into me. I got some scriptures to share, also some news clips to share on this situation with Zaccheus with another live word of the day.
President-elect who is pushing forward with his plans for mass deportations. Our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce, is at Mar-a-Lago with the latest. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Michael. Well, during the campaign, Donald Trump promised to overhaul the immigration system. And now here at Mar-a-Lago, he is preparing what he pledges will be the largest mass deportations in U.S. history, planning to use the military to deport undocumented immigrants. This morning, President-elect Donald Trump is preparing to follow through on his promise of mass deportations. Sources tell ABC News the Trump team is already considering expanding immigration detention centers and restarting family detentions.
They're put in detention. They're put in an ice bed while we make arrangements to the home country. So we detain them, put them on the next airplane out, and send them out.
The president-elect saying he has plans to declare a national emergency and use the military to help deport undocumented immigrants. Trump's new border czar, Tom Homan, says he's heading down to Mar-a-Lago this week to put the, quote, final touches on a plan that he has said will amount to shock and awe. But Homan acknowledges there are many unanswered questions about Trump's plan, including how much it will cost.
We got to have the resources to do the job. So I've been asked 1,000 times, how many people can you remove the first year? Well, how many agents do I have? How many buses do I have? How much money do I have for airplanes, right? Can DOD assist? Because DOD can take all off our plate. So there's a lot of what ifs.
According to some experts, mass deportation could cost an estimated $88 billion a year and send inflation spiking as millions of workers are removed from the workforce. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs, the latest Democratic governor to say her state will not use resources to aid Trump's efforts, calling them misguided.
It harms communities. It tears families apart. And that's not going to happen on my watch.
The ACLU now suing the federal government, seeking details on Trump's plan for mass deportations, looking for information about how authorities might quickly remove people from the country. Trump officials say deportations would be just one element of a vastly different approach to immigration, with plans to stop issuing citizenship documents to children born in the U.S. to undocumented parents in an unproven effort to all but end birthright citizenship, something Trump has long promised. Of course, birthright citizenship is protected by the Constitution. All of this coming as Trump continues to fill out his team, naming former Wisconsin Congressman Sean Duffy to be transportation secretary, tapping another Fox News host to join his team. Now, today, Trump is expected to take a bit of a break from all of this, traveling to Texas with his increasingly close confidant Elon Musk to watch his SpaceX launch. Michael?
All right, Mary, thank you. There's a lot of questions on how that's going to be carried out, but thank you for your time.
Yeah, that was a news clip that I just shared. And I'm worried about it. You see, 88 billion, that's the issue to worry about. Despite of the inflation, which we already have, inflation is already here. Now, you got to talk about mass deportation of migrants, which I don't think make a whole lot of sense. Because especially if people have been here a long time with their families. And it seems like they're going to separate families. What happened in 2017 with children separating from their parents. Problems. And some of us have children. Some of us have parents, Some of us have parents that were not born here and don't have all the documents together. but they've been here for a long period of time. Some people have been here 20 years, 20 years plus. And a mass deportation. Migrants is what helped grow the economy, because let's face it, when some Americans don't want to do the jobs, who you think pick up the slack? Who you think do the rough jobs? Some of the migrants do. Some of the migrants do. A lot of the migrants do. And I don't think it should be a mass deportation of all migrants. I just think it should be maybe deportation of people that do crime. But to have to trigger a mass deportation, so it costs billions. Like I just look at the news clip, 88 billion. 88 billion plus it's gonna cost a whole military, plus the military could get involved in deportation of the migrants, plus it's gonna cost a whole lot of getting buses together, getting vehicles and getting transportation to get them out and get the mass deportation of migrants out. Nah.
Donald Trump has got Stephen Miller, who said he wants mass deportations. I sat in front of restaurant owners and I asked them, what would it be like if all of a sudden you got a knock on your door and there was somebody from Stephen Miller's squad asking you for the names and addresses and immigration status of everybody that works for you? That's not how you can run a country. And so Kamala Harris has said she's going to have very specific procedures for law-abiding non-citizens for the processes they'll have to follow to either stay or leave. Yep. You want that to be sane. You want that to be transparent. You want there to be a specific process for everybody to follow. You don't want Elian Gonzalez type scenarios. That is horrible for business. Donald Trump has got Stephen Miller, who said he wants mass.
Let's turn to a scripture, Psalms 37 verses 5. Commit your way to the Lord and trust him and he will act. You see, if you're a person you're in the country, you're a migrant, but you don't have all your documents together, this is more time to trust in the Lord. And this means more, you need to take time out to pray more than ever before. More than ever before. Because there's no strategic plan. Is when he gets in office in January, and if you don't have all your documents together, as a person, as a migrant, or you've been here for a long time, this is you gotta pray and act fast. Pray, trust the Lord, and act fast, and make sure that you get all your documents together. Make sure that you have all your documents together, because he's not playing. The thing is that he wants to break history. This is going to be massive history. And that's going to be a huge deportation of migrants. It was done with one president before, decades and decades ago. And now Donald Trump is elect Donald Trump is on his way to do the same and break world history. So this is more than ever to pray like you never prayed before. If you have family and you're related to somebody, or related to families or parents, or have parents that don't have all your documents, legal documents together, and they're coming from their country, but they've been here for years. My parents came here. I came here a long time. Been here a very long time. Parents back in the early 90s got their documented legal documents, became U.S. citizens. Became U.S. citizens. And I remember doing it. But if you're not a citizen, or you have all your documents straight, you gotta pray and act fast. This is the moment and the time before he gets in office. I believe in the power of prayer. If you don't have to, Live in fear. When you're trusting God and God is telling you to move, God tells you to move. God tells you to get this together, get that together. When you trust Him, He knows that anybody that come knocking on your door, anybody that comes hounding you, to where's your documents, where your documents, where your documents, just trust God and He'll provide for you. He'll provide those documents that you need to stay. That the threats of Donald Trump won't allow you to live in fear, or you can't sleep, you can't get no rest. This is this time to get yourself together, get your documents together. If you haven't, let's turn to a scripture. Hebrews chapter 13, verses 8. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. You, you know, a lot of Latino men voted for Trump, and a lot of people voted for him. Some people that's not even, some people that have families, they may be citizens, but they have families that don't have all the documents correct, voted for him. And you may have family that don't have all the documents, they can't vote, but you voted. You can't vote if you're not a citizen. But if you have families that don't have all the documents together, all the paperwork together, it's something to worry about, because you voted him. You voted for him to get into office, but now it's like a fear of your loved ones, a fear of your maybe friends or loved ones that could be possibly facing deportation. Why? Because they don't have all the documents together. They don't have all their paperwork together, their citizenship or their right or the correct documents like green card and all these things together. A legal documents together. And the thing is that you see, people change. That's what the scripture is saying. But I knew Trump was going to come in and do that. But I didn't know it was going to be massive like this. I thought he was just going to deport criminal people, that gangs, immigrant gangs, and things like that. Now, and people change. That's why we gotta trust in the Father. People change. We cannot trust in the government. We gotta trust in anything. We can't trust in a friend. Who can we trust in? We gotta trust the Lord. We gotta trust God, because Christ stays the same. People change. People change like the wind.
President-elect Trump confirming that he plans to use the military to carry out mass deportations of undocumented immigrants.
That news drawing a swift reaction from Chicagoans. WGN's Julian Cruz has more from Pilsen.
Good evening. There's growing concern in communities like Pilsen. Countless families with uncles or cousins or even a spouse who are undocumented, some of them applying for legal residency. Many business owners we talk to say that fear is having a tremendous impact.
As soon as the election was over, the next day, within 2 days, my business is down 50%.
Third Coast Restaurant Group owner Sam Sanchez describing the conversation he had with a Little Village restaurant owner. People afraid to go out for fear of deportation, Sanchez says, and it fears that it'll get worse, which is why he and members of the National Restaurant Association hope to send a message to President-elect Donald Trump.
We're hoping that President-elect Trump has common sense.
I have a military veteran who came to me worried about him potentially being deported by this president. The fact is, many people, not just the most recent arrivals, but many people are fearful right now.
22nd Ward Alderman Mike Rodriguez says his community is in fear.
We need to build bridges and not walls. We need to do this in an orderly way.
Rodriguez and many others on Chicago City Council vowing to fight back.
We will see the president in court. This is not legal, what he's trying to do, and I believe the courts will stop him.
The outlines of Donald Trump's deportation plan slowly emerging this week, with a proposed declaration of a national emergency opening the door, many Republicans believe, to the use of soldiers to carry out a mass deportation of undocumented people. But Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson says, among other things, it's fear-mongering.
We, of course, are deeply concerned.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker weighing in yesterday, arguing that a federal deployment of U.S. troops is uncalled for and probably unconstitutional and illegal. And the governor says the White House lacks authority to call out local Illinois National Guardsmen within the confines of Illinois.
There are two different provisions of the act that authorizes the use of the National Guard, Title 10, Title 32, and he doesn't have, under either one of those, the ability to call the National Guard out, again, in the United States of America.
In a written statement, Illinois Republicans say that the Democrats' handling of the immigration crisis has created a massive burden for families. In a statement saying, quote, providing food, housing, and health care for illegals costs Illinois well over $1 billion. That's $1 billion that the state can't afford. In Pilsen, Julian Cruz, WGN News.
Calling U.S. military troops be like a purge for migrants, for people that don't have their paperwork together, knocking on everyone, making sure that you have the paperwork together. Anybody that's not born here, or anybody that's have family that's not don't have all the documents together, but they're here in this country, now gotta worry. Especially, don't matter if you've been here for 20 years and 30 years, or don't matter. And it's like the purge. It's like the martial law, where military troops come to your door and making sure that you have all your documents together. If you don't have all your documents together, they're escorting you out the country. Escorting you out the country. And I don't think it's right. The ones that cause mischief and mayhem, get them out. But hardworking families, hardworking people, they've been here a long time, they just don't have their paperwork together. Or because those things takes a process to get you your citizenship, get your paperwork together. It takes some time. And all of a sudden now, elect President Donald Trump want to get them out. It was one thing, and it's couldn't cause a spike in inflation because they need transportation. They need resources to get them out, to get to deport migrants out of the country. Now, like I said before, this country was built on migrants. So I don't agree 100%. Migrants should be here, especially if they're working, they have families, they're contributing to society. And I say again, if they're in gangs, causing criminal activity, yes, by all means, get them out. President Joe Biden said he'd been doing that. That's what he said. Get them out. But if they want to just build with their family, be here for their family, and they're contributing to society and they're trying to work hard and provide for their family, don't do that. Don't deport them. Don't deport them. And if you don't have your paperwork together and you're not a U.S. citizen, you're not a U.S. citizen yet, or you don't have all your paperwork together, try to work on that as fast as you can. Because right now, coming into the holidays right now, and this is a moment and time to get yourself together and do it. Forget about the paganistic Thanksgiving dinner. Forget about that. It's time to take care of business. And especially if you want to stay here, the Trump administration is not playing. And I say, pray and work and trust the Lord. It's going to be a purge when when Trump takes office in January. It's going to be a martial law. Especially if you're not a citizen. Now the live word of the day is coming out of Psalms 56, verses 3 to 4. When I am afraid, I put my trust in God, in you, in God whose word I praise. In God I trust. I shall not be afraid. What can flesh do to me? What can flesh do to me? And I shall not be afraid. I shall not be afraid. If I put my trust in you, O Lord, what flesh can do to me? What man can do to me? I shall not be moved. I shall not be afraid. I shall not be afraid. And let me tell you something. Yes, okay, you don't have all your paperwork together. Something to worry about. Something to frighten yourself. But if God is on your side, and if you're trusting the Lord and you're leaning on God, whose report you gonna believe? Whose report you gonna believe? We're gonna believe the report of the Lord. Yes, I don't have my documents together. I don't have my paperwork together to stay in the country. But if God is for you, if God is for you, who can be against you? Pray and move. Pray, and if you got to get your documents together, pay what you need to pay, and get it together. Get your documents together, so when by time January, you already have your stuff together. It's been years. It's been years for me. It's been years for my parents. Years. So I don't know what the legal steps are right now. I don't know. I wish I can share that with you. Maybe in another video, if I get proper information, I can share that. But pray, dig up some information, and move. Trust the Lord. Trust God in this moment and this time. Well, this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. God bless and be safe. And if you like what I shared, smash that like button. Also subscribe to my channel, Zaccheus Gospel. And of course, I got more coming for you. Until next time.